Thank you, Dr. Shirley, for bringing me to this event. And I'm actually a stopover from my trip overseas to Hong Kong, and I'm supposed to be leaving about 5 months ago, but I'm now stuck in Hong Kong for 5 months. I don't know why, but because something attracted me here. So the basic thing I tracked was actually digital assets, and this is where we are. My background, how do I get involved in fashion? It was my mother. My mother was a seamstress. So she always cut out all the clothes and then left with everything they have left behind and make my dress and my pants. So you can see I have the most modern shirts and pants when I was 5, 6 years old, and everybody was envy because it was my script. And then my mom, that was 5, 6 years, 7, 8 years old, she teach me how to sew. So I start by recycle at that stage. So I'm ahead of time. So I always believe that, like what I was hearing the earlier speakers, mom is a very important. She is the one who actually grew me what I am today. And she don't give me money, so I have to make money. She don't give me technology, I have to find a way to make technology. Because she don't give me money to buy what you call remote car, I have to make my own car. So ways and means. So I'm actually known in the market as a versatile strategist. So I get things done by hook or by crook. So this is where I got involved, and also by incidentally, back in 2008, 2010, on these carbon credits. So I was actually invited to build a carbon credit exchange, but the great part is I don't know what is carbon credit exchange. So I had to go the other way around and become a carbon auditor in Australia. And then I realized that now I know what's carbon credit, and then now the exchange was built. But then I found no user because nobody understands that. So that is why it turns out at the end of the day, become Energy Star. There was no something like this. So Web 0, Web 1, now we are Web 3. So now we are coming here today, and got me interested into looking at this fashion. Well, fashion, I spend a lot of money on fashion, not for me, for my wife. So, but it's good. But then I always found that because it's my wife have actually, when I bought her the first jeans, like what I saw there, she still have the jeans. We bought in this Wall Street. It was $1,000 US. So maybe that is the reason why still today. It's more than 14 years now. So I can see that is where we look at how we're looking at true. So because today you have very good speakers ahead here in this event, which I didn't anticipate because I was coming here just to maybe talk about what I look at the fashion. And I'm actually, because we have been going around, I'm a digital nomad also. I've been living in 18 countries and 200 cities around the world during the pandemic. And I paid my tax first time in my life for 30 years in Singapore because I stayed more than 1 year. So now I realize that the world actually changed, and also the world change is also changing to good. So, and you must understand also, I come back to Hong Kong also for 2 reasons. I found a lot of friends still stubborn, very rich public company owner, still having a problem trying to pass the business to the next generation, because the sons and daughters, maybe a doctor, lawyers, or maybe their own company, doesn't want to take over this business, but it's a public company or big business, very big one. So I found here is communication and comes to here. Why I'm putting this into a fashion, same thing is communication. So remember when we have the Adam and Eve, you guess what happened? What sort of clothing does Adam and Eve have? Only a piece of leaf, this nature. So Adam only keep 1 piece. Then Eve kept 3 pieces. So that's how, you see, the girls always have extra pieces. So that's where the clothing industry comes in. So I believe that's how it started. So, I mean, the guys only have 1 piece. What else it can cover? But the ladies have 3 pieces, but then this is also where I see, sometimes, I mean, as a joke, this is actually how I look at the fashion industries, everything will evolve. So we also look at things that is going to move on. See that. Yes. So why I look at Asia as my point, because I'm a Singaporean, And although I've been going around the world, I find fashion is still one of the biggest industries. And anybody who migrate from Asia to Western world, the first job is always a seamstress or seamster, or even a clothes repair, whether it's America, Canada, or whether it's Germany, or even in Italy. So fashion is always there. You saw this is simplest because it's actually very stressful, but at least there's a cash flow for everybody put in. So I see this as also the biggest emission that we have. So are we going back into time, like we're going to have a piece of leaf and then 3 pieces of leaf for the ladies? Yes, maybe it is possible. That's why we may have aliens that only wear clothes that change by your thoughts, which can be done. Bio clothings are already in place. America and Japan are trying that. So I can't disclose, but we have seen this able to be done. So in other words, you are not going to have a lot of selection. You'll be select because of the weather. You select because you need the warmth. You select because you are at a certain age, you need to protect your body. So the clothing in future will not be what you see today. Oh, I feel hot, I'll wear a sweater. Or I just want a t-shirt because I'm in the summer. So in the future, fashions will be more climatized. So you use that because you need it. So this is why I see temperature now increasing so much. I'm still wearing a suit. I'm going out, I sweat, but because I have to do it, because this is actually what we call the rule of engagement. So you have to present yourself. I can come here as a t-shirt or a singlet, but I think I don't get the respect that you need here. Then you listen to these guys. This guy is like a char kway teow guy in somewhere, or maybe a food store hawker talking in front of you. He knows what he's talking about. So because I'm not allowed to do that, because it's a protocol, the mindset that we have. So I believe changing the mindset is the next most important in education for fashion. Of course, I already said my mom, seamstress, I got to do very fashionable. So I learned how to sew. I learned how to make clothing. I was surprised because in my class, I'm the only one. So that's how I got girlfriends, because they were asking me how to make this. My mom, I pick up business for my mom. That's how I did it. So I go up and say, oh, you see, this one's nice. So my mom starts sewing. So I'm a businessman when I was only 9 years old. So this is also why the reason I see in one of the speakers saying, incentivization and also the motivation to make money is number one. Because if you don't put money, or the other way around, now in Hong Kong, you go to a shopping center, you're trying to buy something, you have to pay 10 cents for a plastic bag. And then why? Because you got to fine $2,000. Only you have been fined $2,000, then you pay the 10 cents or you carry a recycled bag. But how many have been doing? I'll pay 10 cents. Because $1, sorry, the 10 cents is US, I'm going to say $1 Hong Kong. I'll pay $1 Hong Kong. But I'm collecting a lot of bags. So it's still the same problem. The bags is now in my hotel. I go out because I don't carry bags. So if I buy something back for shop grocery or even go up to shop, I have to have bags. So I'm still creating the problem. I pay for my problem, okay? So now, what's the difference? Because then that is where the market have to change the mindset. The mindset has to change in such a way that if you want to do it, I have to do example. Yeah, of course I want to carry recycle, what we call bags that's reusable, but it's also big. It's not, I can't fold it and put on myself. I did it once and people are looking at me, I just like Harry carrying a gun because it was stuck on my hair. So I don't need to do that anymore. So I think the most important, it comes to the stage that when you come to work on fashion and you look at products or even the cycle that we're in. So I understand SEG 12, which is actually fashion actually it's not only fashion, it's actually the, what we call the production of products that has to be recyclable, returnable. I like the shoes bags that the first presenter did on that. Was very interesting because we were thinking of that, but then she have done it. So in other words, but it's not known to the world. Why? Because there's only one brand. So everybody does that, everybody knows it. So that brand, somebody should start what we call a shoe bag leasing company. So they can just stick a sticker every time someone they do it. So then there's another industry created. So you don't even have to worry about the rubbish or the thing recyclable. You have to find out, because it actually costs you more money to implement. I give a story. We did with a biotech company back in Australia, just to do what we call Panadols, or you call aspirin. 8 of this is only $5 Australia, or $3 Australia. But just to commission to get this out is $285 to go through the whole protocol, just to get it out. Because the cost to get one product, like what one of the speakers said, the recycle is more expensive than what you make new. So people rather throw away to do that. So this mentality can be changed, but it takes technology. It takes a new mindset to do it. So why you take a new mindset to do it? Like what I like about you said, the shoe bags. Instead of you doing it, you get people to come and do it voluntarily. But then that itself becomes a new cycle. They have no incentive. Why? Because you put carbon credits. So every time they do it, they earn carbon credits. Of course, people will be rushing to collect back the shoe bags itself. Carbon credits is approved under 295 countries. So it's not a thing that Singapore, Hong Kong, US, China, or Hong Kong, or maybe Japan. It's everybody's problem. But everybody's getting together. We'll be having an event over in Dubai this year on the COP28. I already see people coming to our program end of November, December. People are willing to learn. And today, I'm giving the honor to come here. I'm trying to introduce things like why it's also important to look at this. Countries already implemented sustainable law. Have you known about that? But no, nobody is interested, because we're only interested in Hong Kong, China. We don't care anything outside. I don't care anything out of Singapore too. But everybody asks me, who's my Prime Minister? Of course I know him. But anybody out from there, from other ministers, I don't care, because that's how he governed the countries. So this is where now the new generation, or the Chinese they call Tamping, and all those don't care. We are actually a bit like them now, because we just want to do and live comfortably with my families and everybody. So in order for the law to do it, to be noticeable, like what I just mentioned, the $1 of the bags. So I believe my wife is here. She will scream at me. She will get me a recycle bag, because she wouldn't want me to spend $1. And then at the end, she will say, no, this is $20. It's just spent, which can buy a milk or maybe a drink. So this is education. I'm actually a bad example, because I'm alone staying here, so I can make that excuse. But when my wife's here, there's no excuse. So this is why it's education in a family to get this done. So, and the law, Japan, I look Japan as number one. Also my intention, also in the life, because it also get back to me, because this Japan was, Okinawa was one of the earliest country that Japan that actually implemented waste treatment, real waste treatment. That means we're not talking bullshit. Things are going through. The reason I got it, because one of my ex-girlfriend actually been won over by this Japanese guy who is doing sustainable. And remember, I'm like what we do. You hate somebody, that you need to get back to him. So then you need to find the industry. So you see, for us, I already say, remember, I'm a versatile strategist. Only reason to be doing something like this, you must have a challenge. So now everybody knows you must create yourself a challenge. Why are we doing this? We are doing this for the sake to show you? No. But if we do something for the sake of our children, yes. Because tomorrow we know that if, we already have gone through what you call Chinese, you call the pandemic days. You don't want in the next 15, 20 years to be wearing an oxygen mask and live on Earth, and to live under the ground because of the heat and solar. I also live in Dubai. I know what's heat, 45 to 50 degrees. And here is nothing compared to that. Here is only humid, but in there it's dry. And when we say dry, water is more precious than anything. So water is also part of the whole ecosystem here. So the rules, the laws in Japan, helping up to change the structure. South Korean government, all this happened, but nobody noticed because don't care. So I believe now Hong Kong government also putting very, very strong, that's what I like about it. Although it's small, but it's getting noticed now. And with the new interest, Web3 is actually a very interesting subject. It got kicked up. Everybody now get interested in digital because you have 3 to 4 years of homestay. So you know that if you don't do digital, you can't even live for the next 20 years because you don't know what to do. So I found now even taxi now accept my payment, my Octopus card, which never happened 3 years ago. So, so this is actually improvement, but it takes time. Hong Kong is a financial center. Singapore is a financial center. I know Singapore government is prepared for this ESG, SDG. I came to this SDG, ESG is also by SIG. I already says I was stuck in New York, and then I was with the UN, and I was dragged into SDG and do all the SDG events, and then accidentally now I become a speaker in UN, just because I'm there. So now I understand what we're talking about. We have a lot of professional beggars from Africa, but they got very good projects that we can implement. Then the other things that we need to do in our promotion on circular economy is just only part. The reason I choose circular economy in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is one of the fashion centers. That's why the Chinese came here to buy clothes. Even Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, even your mates comes here to buy the clothes from here, although it's come from China. But because this is where you can get designer clothes and some of the branded designs. So the stakeholder of all this, like whether it's going to be a branded goods company, or it could be even a company that is actually promoting shoes, doing food stuff. And also, I'm actually recently also went into Macau to look at carbon labeling. So this is also what's happening over there. People are getting aware. Today, this event, I'm very happy. I'm honored from Dr. Shirley to invite me because I am just sharing a bit of what we're doing. Tokenization is a very important move, Web3. In order to do that, it's not like the next 15 minutes I can tell you. It will take you about 3 to 4 hours to understand the basic. No worry, time is there for you. Learn and pick up. Government is incentivizing tax benefits, grants, and subsidy. I'm very happy also because we also bring application in Hong Kong. So we also have an insurance company here to do carbon insurance. The reason we are doing that, no, if you want to trust a system, you have to create the trust. So if I want to buy a Louis Vuitton bag, if you don't have a warranty card, you don't buy it because you think it's fake. But if you come a warranty card, it's just like a guarantee because you buy kitchen utensils, you say it's all guaranteed for 2 years. The guarantee of 2 years is called artificial comfort. But once you know that anything wrong, you send back, they'll repair it. And you know what they do? They don't actually repair. They bring it and bring you a new one. It's cheaper. That's what it says. It's cheaper to give you a one than to repair one. Sometimes this is why it's the true part of economy. But I also have this happen in US when we're there. We buy something, and it's better for them to actually say, I'll send you a new one, than to actually collect back. So we actually bought one because of a glass set. We only broke a dish. Now we got two sets of it, and they charge only one price. The reason why they're doing is getting back a recycled thing costs a lot of money. So this is why the origination of production, like what you're saying, even a simple cardboard for a shoe, it might be nothing, but it's an economy by itself. Just imagine this shoebox can put other things other than shoes. You know, you actually have one carrier to go to other things. So this today is my 15-minute speech on digitizing, understanding the economy. A bit about my mom anyway. Thank you.